Okay, item M, approve an expenditure in the amount of $12,000 to Flock Safety for invoice INV 92148 to be paid from Police Capital Outlay 44445-5424.
Motion?
Motion from Bradshaw,
Second.
second from Lamar. Chief?
So on these, when we went through the debate before, we all remember the flock long meetings. So there was a point at one time where we were going to move the cameras to off the ODOT right-of-ways. And in doing so, we came up with a plan where we would move them on some of our arterial streets, areas that we think would be high traffic where they would be of good use. So I sent that to Flock and said, hey, here's the locations preliminary that we're going to move them to. If it gets voted, we have to move them. The council at the time voted to leave them on where they were at, so we left them alone. Flock installed them anyway. They were not up and running. They were just installed. So I talked to the representative and I said, hey, if you would give us a trial period, let us see how they work. I will run it back before council when it comes due. So this was several months ago. They went back and forth. They're up and running. They've actually been huge value to us. Regardless how you feel as far as the law enforcement aspect of it, I think it's a game changer. And as far as being able to investigate cases, it's huge. There's a reason that people are putting them in their parking lots and Lowe's and things like that. Because if you take a surveillance video from Walmart, and they have facial recognition, so you like walk in there and it can tell, like, hey, you've been into Walmart. But you take that vehicle and all they have is a description. Well, then when you start looking it up, you're going to find 30 of those vehicles. You can't tell exactly who it is. So there's actually an active case right now that one of the cameras is the reason we find out who it was. So that's what this is. This is for 4 additional cameras that will give us 8 with what we already had.
So they just set them up themselves and didn't charge anybody for it?
Correct.
Yeah, in fact, I first saw one, and I called Jeremy, and I said, what the heck is that? And he said, I don't know, Flock just put it up there, and they were never were installed. I mean, they were mounted, is probably the word we should use, but never
So when
installed.
you talk to somebody, you're talking to a sales rep. Well, the sales rep sends it to the team that goes out in the field. So there's 2 different people that do the things. So you kind of like the first one when it was installed and then up there by Orchlands. And so, or Boom Guards now.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, I'm for this, but I want to clarify something. We've always had 4
Correct.
that we pay for yearly.
Mhm.
So these are, and then those test ones that are out and about, this is to add them to our network?
Correct. So that would put
So
8.
this is 4 additional. So when is the contract coming up for the other 4? I didn't know we were approving
August is when it comes due, I believe, is when we pay it.
the original 4.
Correct. So it's due in like August or September.
Okay.
It'll be 24,000 a year total is what, we'll have to budget for.
And this will give us 8 active ones total.
Correct. And, I mean, they're already around. There's some in the industrial park, and then GRDA is looking at getting some. So these are things
Is there any grant money that you could use against that?
we could, but we use it. I mean, it's the JAG grant and Safe Oklahoma grant, which we use for equipment, things like that. So-
It all comes out the same.
Correct.
Thank you.
My opinion on it is, I mean, folks who talk to me already know, but just for clarification from a legal standpoint, has not a judge, I mean, this is a question for Chase, has not a judge ruled in Oklahoma that anybody can request any photo that those things take as part of a public document, public record?
I think there is one where this is public record, but we're gonna have the appellate opinion at this point that I'm aware of.
I'll say, where does that stand?
But they were upheld into the Supreme Court. Remember that case I sent you? Where the use of them is upheld. Correct. So they're upheld by law that says, in a federal court, that says that they are not a search under the 4th Amendment.
Right. Well, no, I was just curious, if I called up and said, hey, I want to see where the mayor's truck has been for the last 30 days on a flock camera, are those
Nah.
public record?
It would be any other thing that you could request that we can see that the general public can't see.
That specific tag number has to be entered into the system
Right.
for it to hit on that picture of that.
Oh, I know.
It's not a
That
ring.
was just an example.
Correct. You can't, as a person, come in there and run that information. You have to now, there's audit trails and things that you have to put the reason why you're searching that vehicle. Whether it be a homicide or stolen vehicle, whatever it may be, as law enforcement, you have to put that in there.
Well, yeah, well, my question was, is since a judge had ruled that those were public records, does that not give access literally to?
Now, it'd be no different than any of our other stuff.
Well, you're saying no, he's shaking his head yes, so
I have to disagree with Chief. I think if the judge.
can you speak in the mic?
He's saying a judge has ruled on it. You're saying.
Yeah, I don't think there's an appellate opinion on it that I've seen. I can check, but I'm unaware of an appellate decision. I think there is a district court, which is not binding on us at this point, but I think there is a district court that rules it is considered public record. I don't know that you'd be able to put in a public record asking where the mayor's vehicle has been, but you might be able to put one in that says, for this particular camera from the hours of X to X type thing. I don't think you can actually request the tracking information, but if it takes a photograph, you might have access to the photographs, so when, where, that type of stuff, if that makes sense. So even if it is public record, I don't think you can request it that way, but I guess you could request them all in piecemeal wherever mayor's.
And people can request anything they want. There's tons of stuff that gets requested that we deny all the time per law. I mean, there's the Open Records Act, which Natalie is very up on, I promise you.
All right, further discussion? If none, we'll call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes,
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
No.
Graybill,
Yes.
Trammell,
No.
Brown,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.